Alright, we're back. Let's go. Watch it. See if you can notice something, anything different. With this video from the last one. Something changed. And I want to see if you don't notice. Let me know. When the wow, that looks cool. I don't know. I like the planet. This stuff. Sweet. This is the graveyard. I wish I had one of them diggers. That would be
Whoa, hey, where'd you come from?
from the alien space. Still shovel.
Don't go ambling out in those hills. That's marauder territory, friend. You talk too pretty for a marauder. Most of them just grunt and yell. Ain't safe out here. You'd best head into town. Avail yourself of Edgewater's high walls. And low prices.
Hey, I'm a billion.
Pleased to make your acquaintanceship. I'd shake your hand, but I've been hauling corpses. You don't want none of that on you. Name's Silas. Junior in humor for the town of Edgewater. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family. Definitely not the junior in humor, that's for sure. If you've got business inquiries, you should stop by Reed Thompson's office. He's up in the tower above the cannery. Head into town, follow the road. Look, you obviously ain't a worker. What's your racket? You a smuggler? Freelancer?
No, I just happened. My car just crashed.
Got a knack for being discreet-like? There's money to be made, long as you keep your nose clean. Edgewater is a company town, board-owned and operated. That includes the cemetery. None of us own our grave sites, we rent them from the company. Renting means money. Money means paperwork. Paperwork means signatures. Some of our families become a mite delinquent in paying their dues, you see? Company policy. If it was up to me, I'd put the whole town 10 feet under, free of charge.
Oh yeah, just put a bunch of dynamite.
4 workers still haven't paid up. Phyllis, Conrad, Ludwig, and Martin Abernathy. He's a special case. You may want to twist his arm a little. Conrad's got a barbershop in town. Phyllis works at the cannery most hours. Abernathy... I ain't seen him in a few days. His domicile is near the cannery. You'll find him in town. All except Ludwig, that is. He's over by the landing pad. He just is. Look, I don't want to get into it. Just make sure he pays up.
I like how forestation's on big comic.
Yeah? The colony ship? Are you talking about that old rumor? Some great big starship packed full of colonists what got lost in the aether never to be found again? Ain't heard that one since I was but a stripling. Can't say it was terribly convincing far as rumors go. There a reason you asking? All right, easy now. No need to get your hackles up. Maybe you've been out in the sun too long. Why don't you head over to the cantina? Get yourself some zero-G brew. It's a brew that's good for what ails you. No, this is sounding like sedition. I'm not too keen on getting clapped in irons because you wouldn't stop running your mouth. Look, I don't know what's got you caterwauling about hope this and colony that, but you need to stop, or there's gonna be trouble.
That's how that's how I feel about some people around here. Exactly how I feel.
Trouble's in the asking. Or don't much care for folk running their mouths, spreading hoaxes and the like. Frankly, neither do I. Something I can do for you?
Alright, bye-bye. Hey, you okay?
Huh? What? I wasn't dozing off.
I could really go for some salt tuna.
Alright, let's go check out some stuff. Cemetery discoveries. So tell me, what's so different about this? Oh. When I'm making a video, I'm chatting. You hear the beeping that's they use some Alright, you just said please do stuff. Okay, I will upload this video probably tonight. Oh, that's okay. Anybody wanna bathe in the lava? They could have made it a little better though. Lolita. And I want to say, will do. 2, 3. Like the juice. Ah, this. So here's your quiz. Tell me what's so different about this video. Alright, let's go check out these ones.
I'm sorry. I'll just be a minute.
You had a minute. Next one comes out of your pay.
Ease off the threats, friend. I'm going.
Boss's orders. We all got quotas to make.
Somebody's been running around town raving about a colony ship. Plague must have gone into their brain matter. Oh, I'm an actuary. That means I keep tabs on a worker's living expenses. How much it costs to feed, clothe, shelter, bury, and replace your average human worker. Technically, I'm employed by the Spacer's Choice Department of Human Resources.
Jeez. I want to meet her in real life. Might not be too happy, but people do not. Okay, this is the beginning. What are we doing? How do I put my gun on?
Just gotta keep our heads up.
I don't know you.
What's Liberian?
Amelia Kim, Spacer's Choice Beverage Dispenser. I don't know what you're about, but this here's a Spacer's Choice drinking establishment. We're all loyal, hard-working company folk here.
Oh, sure you are. So you're not gonna shove me a drink?
Am I that easy to read? Yeah, we've been having some problems lately. Loyalty issues, lines in the sand. I know where folk in Edgewater stand, but you, I don't know you. If you're gonna have a drink, I'd like to ask that you do it within the premises. Can't have you taking drinks over to those deserters. Traitors. The lot of them. Bunch of folks decided they were tired of working and went out into the wilds to fend for their own selves. Town's already struggling to make quotas, even without that band of slackwits abandoning their posts. Bunch of lazy, shiftless rung leeches. Anyway, enough about them. What can I do for you?
Don't have that. Nope, I don't want to drink. I don't drink.
Do you now? And what makes you think Mr. Thompson wants to talk to you? He's a busy man. You want to talk to Mr. Thompson, try ignoring your duties. He'll summon you up to that great big tower atop the cannery, and you'll get yourself a proper dressing down.
Oh yeah, maybe I should just do this. That's not like. Sounded like it's a good thing.
It is a good thing. If you're not pulling your weight, you don't deserve to live here. Simple as that.
Oh, I guess so. What human civilization is becoming? Bunch of robots. Machines. Wait. Hold on a second.
If you're falling sick, I don't want you near me.
Don't worry. I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah, if you are falling sick, do you want me near you? Okay. Oh, I think I just found a sick person. Hands dirty. What is this? A bypass. Bypass. pistol. This is some kind of barbershop or some eggs.
Please don't touch anything. Your hands are probably crawling with germs. Physical hygiene recapitulates moral hygiene. Cleanliness is next to lawfulness.
Sounds like a mom.
No, thank you. That's quite all right. I've seen enough body parts in my line of work. I'm Conrad. You will report to me if your hair fails to meet Spacer's Choice aesthetic standards. You will also report to me in the event of your death, whereupon I will clean and prepare your remains for interment.
I wonder how you do that. How you report to him in the event of your death. Do you like ghost walk to him or something? Like, hey, dude, if my body died like that 200 meters from here, you go pick it up.
A ship? Dear me. You seem to have lost the ability to distinguish between reality and fantasy. This is what happens when you let your imagination run wild. I don't approve of fantasizing. It's a dreadful habit, corrosive to the mental faculties. You ought to let the vicar take a look inside your head. Vicar Maximilian, our man from the OSI, here to spread the message of scientism like a soothing balm upon a feverish head. Or so you'd expect. You'll find him in our local church, probably neglecting his duties.
I hope so. They don't want to hear that much.
Ah, gravesite fees. Silas and I had talked about this at length. I thought I'd made it clear my pecuniary situation precludes the necessary restitutions. As broke as pie crust, friend. Bidless, indigent, destitute. I simply cannot afford it. I am a blemish on the prosperity of our fair settlement. When I expire, I expect Silas to toss my body into a ditch. Edgewater is built on the discipline and sacrifice of its people. Say what you will about our town, but we all pull together. Tell Silas I can't afford to pay, and that I fully expect to have my medical rights revoked for this dereliction. With my apologies.
Wait.
Some time ago, I fell ill with the plague. By the grace of the law, and through my own hard work, I'd proven worthy of treatment. Frankly, I don't imagine I'll earn that right a second time. The barber work hasn't been profitable, you see. I've had to keep this old place running with my own savings. Not a bad idea. But I'd need some kind of collateral. My pair of lucky clippers! No, that won't do. Your idea intrigues me, but I'm afraid I don't have anything to give Silas. I'm open to suggestions.
Okay, both options lead to competition.
Much obliged.
Should I shoot him? Okay, let's go.
Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing with myself.
Just the way it goes, I suppose.
Staying long?
Trash. Okay, I'm just gonna go do the mission. What is this? Oh, look at that. 50 XP. Why? Just for looking at the board. Did I just steal that thing? Oh, steal it. This trouble today. Oh, fuck is this? Whatever. Yeah, forklift. No, what? Most looks like a forklift. Goes back like this. And goes up like this. Big forklift. Just don't. Not this thing. Do that. This. Sometimes. Not good. It's okay. Okay, so they shall back. Huh. Balcony. Just so. Alright, I'm not saying I'm stealing. Oh, no, it shows I'm stealing. Yes. Oh, the spaceship. Aw. Unlock that. Must be a full fridge. Let's go. Heavy ammo. Why not? Huh. Like, how well would you search someone's house? Walk into someone's house, what would you think? Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Oh wait, I do know. What's this? Where did this come from? So completed. I have no new tasks.
Hey, you hear about Wilson?
Heard Marauders got in.
Just between us, Wilson deserted. Lost his nerve. Ran off in the thick of night.
You kidding me? Damn. Always thought he was made of sterner stuff.
I think he was plagued. Guess he didn't want to die in the sick house.
Plague? Ah, shit. I had some of his salt tuna.
You moron.
Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing with myself.
We should keep our voices down.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder what I'm doing with myself too. Is this a jailhouse? Oh, wow.
Welcome to the Spacer's Choice Constabulary. We are Halcyon's leading brand in frontier justice. The office is writing up promotion. Purchase 3 criminal investigations and the 4th one's free.
Nah, they ain't good. I don't want just investigations.
Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing with myself.
I know how you feel.
What can I do for you? Oh? Am I in the company of a fellow doctor? Experience was my teacher. Experience and... So, you want to be an embalmer, brochures 1 through 5, courtesy of the Spacer's Choice Department of Career Development. Go ahead. Edgewater has been good to me. I consider myself privileged to work here. I am never wanting for work, not since the plague started. The plague's come at us with a vengeance this year. Lost 6 workers in as many months. I wouldn't call them good workers, mind you. If they were any good, they'd have been treated. Still, it is a shame. Fever, chills, fatigue, aching, vomiting, an excess of phlegm, a tendency towards belly aching. Whatever it may be, I have developed my own palliative. Boiled canid liver and a splash of ethanol. Company policy, friend. We don't have enough medicine to treat all of us, so we treat the best among us.
Which is like the voice.
Mr. Thompson's brainchild. Have you met him yet? Thoughtful-looking fellow, stares out of his office most hours.
Whatever. Why? I'll go steal some money. This guy inside.
Yes, Mr. Thompson. I'm fine, Mr. Thompson. Never been healthier. Whoa, did Mr. Thompson send you?
Yes.
Well, you tell Mr. Thompson I'll be right at my post. Tomorrow. Bright and early tomorrow. Because I'm definitely not plagued. As spry as a spring chicken. That's old Abernathy. You some sort of wandering alienist? Walking into a man's own domicile, pestering him about his mental state? You don't know that. I could have been saying anything. Maybe I said vague. You know how words sound a mite strange when you're sick. Wait, no. Oh, damn it. Okay, listen. Maybe I am feeling a little under the weather, but I swear I'm on the mend. Please, don't tell the constable.
Yeah, that's probably how I'm gonna act.
She'll toss me in the sick house. I would have confessed before the good vicar. Get some ablutions for my spirit. Just never found my courage is all. Hey, you're hale and healthy and possibly for hire, ain't you? Do a good turn for an expiring old man. There's a cache of anthracillin tucked away in the old community center. Powerful stuff. Stronger than what we got, anyway. I need you to break in, nab that medicine, and bring it back to me. You oblige me with your haste. I think I feel the plague spreading. Oh, Law, it's in my spleen now. I can feel it. Just keep your head down when you're in there. Marauders have taken over. Probably tracking mud all over the archives. I know that, but I got nobody else to turn to. Reed would have wrote me up. Constable would have locked me up and wrote me up. Could have gone to see the good vicar, but I never did find my courage.
What the hell do you? But wait, they all monsters.
You're making a mistake working for Abernathy.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. I'm Esther Blaine, Spacer's Choice Actuary. I overheard your talk with Abernathy. I hope you're not thinking about getting him that medicine. Abernathy is a well-known hypochondriac. Anthracillin is wasted on him. You're better off selling it to me instead. All I'm saying is Abernathy's worked in this town longer than some of us been alive. How do I put this gently? He's got a lot of cobwebs up in his attic. I probably shouldn't tell you. Don't want you implicated for what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I can't get that. Yeah, that's not shady at all. Have it your way.
I'm doing right by the town, I'll tell you that much. You bring me that medicine, and I'll see that it goes to the right people.
Oh yeah, right people do.
That's all I can ask of you.
I've been feeling pretty low these days.
At least you got your health.
Hey man, what's up?
Gotta find.
Oh, now we have a problem. Where did you come from? You think I'm afraid of your bullets? I don't think so. Oh yeah, you're gonna shoot with that machine gun. I want a machine gun. I want a machine gun. Give me that machine gun. Gee, what's wrong with you? How many hell do you have? Goodbye. Did you just die or did you just okay? Back shot. Man, I suck at this game. Ooh. Did I just blow him up? For no reason. Arms just went everywhere. Come on! Stop shooting me! Seriously! Oh, one more. You seriously think you can win? What's my boy? Boom! Stuff. Spoils. Oh. Alright, which one is the big one? That machine gun. Ooh, this one looks nice. What is this? 19, 44, 19, 199. What is this one? Oh, yeah, no. They run down. Let's see. Alright, we're doing it. Oh, yeah. Now that's a weapon. That's great. Okay, give me like 5 things that changed between last replay or last video and this video. What do you want? Leave me alone. Leave me alone, I said. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot all that. Woo! Woo! Yeah, just keep on. Kind of reread it. They're cool. I'll sell all the stuff. Hey, put it. Ooh, the vodka. Alright, little people. I have gone crazy. You don't want to mess with me. You do. Oh, he's still alive. I just leveled up. I call it open. Wow, that took like a while. What that was. I don't like this getting that chain gun. It's effective. A lot better than like. Vending machines. Okay, we can oh, I know. This is okay. No, I can buy it. It's not the best choice. It's business choice. I just got a ring. I don't need a ring. These monkeys. Saved up on shut. No. that company's done. It's like I'm making more. Alright, I'm just gonna go do it. I just enter a cheat mode or something. I know there's all the staircase. I don't understand. Where did the Marauders come Oh, I see. I don't have data. There you go. Oh, what the? Wow, that was lightning. What? I just stop running. Ooh, internal.
Miss Holcomb, I need to explain this addressing the grease monkey, Argo.
I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, sir. You asked why it's taking so long to fix. The answer's technical.
Don't apologize. Just try using small words for me.
The can's bust open in the oven because she's set to cook saltuna, which isn't what we've got. Mr. Thompson? I think there's someone here to see you.
Focus, Miss Holcomb. You and I are still talking. Let's start over. Walk me through the process. Show me where it's going awry.
Well, sure. It's, mostly on account of what we're feeding into the mechanism.
It puts food in cans. We have food, we have cans. Why won't it work like we need?
She's expecting saltuna of a certain size. We're filling the cans with, well, not fish.
Seems we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself. You were saying, Miss Holcomb.
It's just what Bess needs is a proper refurbish. I can bandage her up and what all, but she's just old. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll do better.
And I do wish you'd stop referring to our cannery as Bess. Personification of company property is strictly contrary to the Spacer's Choice Code of Conduct. My apologies. I am not in the habit of allowing my guests to witness such a row. Now, what can I do for you? I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I cannot help but notice you are not in uniform. Of course not. I don't have that kind of luck. Seems I allowed my excitement to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since we've had a visitor pass through.
Only regulator we got is hooked up to the town transformer. Mr. Thompson ain't liable to be keen on dismantling it.
I beg your pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such thing. I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process.
Frying myself? Seriously?
Oh, yes. Saw someone put his hands on a regulator while the power was running. His legs were still twitching when we buried him. There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. Once their power's shut down, you can have their regulator and be along on your way. I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there. No, I do not imagine they will be pleased. But like a parent disciplining an unruly child, you will be doing them a kindness. The people living in the botanical labs, they're deserters. Former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home. Edgewater is struggling. We haven't hit our production quota in years. If we don't meet our quotas this year, the company might shut us down for good. I need those workers back at their stations. Neither do I. The fault was entirely mine. I pushed them too hard. My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town. Adelaide's older than the other deserters. She's dignified, kindly. From what I understand, her camp looks to her for leadership. That is not a hypothetical I enjoy entertaining. We need Adelaide back. Nonetheless, I will settle for the return of her followers. We belong to one community, the Spacer's Choice family. If we dissolve into factions, then we will all perish separately. Adelaide will understand that.
My dad told me all about the plant. Taught me all he knew. I could come in useful. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented and may prove useful to you. You will need an administrative passcode in order to enter the plant. I am trusting you with mine, and trusting Miss Holcomb to guide you if you'd like.
Yeah, I could use the phone.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you, and thank you again for your help. It is a lot to ask of a stranger, I know.
I want to go. Thank you. Companions. Then why don't you just tell me that?
We better clear out of Mr. Thompson's office before we talk.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good to me.
Hey, mister, can we talk? Sorry. Can we chat?
No. Follow me. Still following? Good. Keep following. That definitely does not look like it's disgusting.
Sorry. You just want to get out of here. And you likely don't want to tag along like me. It's just, Mr. Thompson has his own view on matters, on account of it's his job and what all, but that's not the only side of the tale. To Mr. Thompson, a person's a gear. It does its job quiet-like. If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of them before they left. Life's hard here, especially for them that don't fit in so well. We're one big Spacer's Choice family, but every family's got the one the rest whisper about. Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. They'll be at the mercy of marauders, or worse. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Max, his name is. About if what Mr. Thompson proposes to do is upright. Leaving Miss McDevitt's folk to their fate. They're neighbors. Kin. And maybe he can think of something else to try. Something we ain't. He used to go walking outside town. Maybe he found something that'll help. It's just an idea. That's all. The mission's on the east side of town. You can't miss it. On account of it being the only clean thing. Thanks, mister. I just think when you gotta make a decision that'll hurt somebody, it's best to think on the right and wrong of it. That's what my dad used to say anyways.
That's definitely not disgusting. Nope. Not disgusting at all.
Almost lost a finger in the cannery today. Wonder if the plague's ever gonna pass.
I've always felt weird in here. It's too clean.
church.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic.
That's this.
Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max if you're the sort who prefers brevity. And Ms. Holcomb as well. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
Just tagging along, Vicar DeSoto. Don't mind me.
I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling? This season's tossball predictions? The quickest way out of town? Not to put too fine a point on it, but your choice of wardrobe is not precisely common hereabouts. Also, you lack the distinctive worker gaze. Usually either a deadening behind the eyes, or in some rare cases, a wild-eyed frenzy, like a trapped animal. Pretty universal here, except for Ms. Holcomb, who, for some reason, doesn't seem to have much to say to me. Isn't that right?
It's just... there's more to it all than numbers. Sorry.
I'm simply bemoaning the level of spiritual awareness in this town. Yes. Yes, it is. But it's my job, and I take it very seriously. I must double my efforts to elevate my flock. These are good, hard-working people here.
What? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in single words, and slink away. I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive her to my mission. What has Mr. Thompson asked you to do? Depriving them of safety from the marauders and wildlife. I can see why that troubles you. Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has, if you believe the talk. They rejected the order of society and live beyond the walls so thoughtfully provided by our Spacer's Choice patrons. Does that strike you as a responsible life choice? Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edgewater and convince the deserters to return to the fold. Not if things are left to stand as they are. If you don't mind a bit of unsolicited advice, be cautious on your way to the geothermal plant. It is not as safe as you might assume. The marauders I met when I ventured outside the walls might agree with you. Bastards snuck up on me while I was dutifully hunting for a banned book in a collector's library. Barely escaped with my life. But you see, one of the reasons I transferred here was to get my hands on that heretical text. If you managed to acquire it for me, I'd pay quite a handsome sum for the book. I just want to keep the writing out of laymen's hands. It wouldn't do for such information to fall into public consumption. It's a handwritten journal, A faded blue cover with the name M. Bakonu handwritten in the lower corner. I'll mark where I saw it on your map. Assuming you're serious? It is not only a beautiful relic of a bygone time, it's also the thoughts of an early thinker on the nature of man's place in the cosmos. Not many in this colony could understand its true value, should they ever read it. Thank you. If you retrieve it, you can always find me here.
Interesting name so far. Well, for now, I'm going to cut it off. Thanks for watching.